the international cooperation as a technical manager GIS, and I will present one way of data collection we've developed together with our partner Tiger. You've seen, I think, some session of the team already yesterday and today. And yeah, let me just quickly dive into it. It will be around 30 minutes, and I will just explain you what the tool is, how it works, and for what use cases you can actually use it. So I think I don't have to go too much into detail why mapping, and in particular mapping in the community, is so important. Yeah, we as German Red Cross, but also other Red Cross and Red Crescent societies, national societies are using mapping, of course, for several reasons. For instance, to map the perception of the community on risk, or to collect data on the local capacity, all those kind of different things. So for this case, we've experienced that actually an analog way of mapping together with the community is, yeah, not the best way, but a very good way to go, because it's quite easy to understand, especially for people who've maybe never seen a map before, and therefore it's also quite good for people with low tech knowledge so far. So in this case, we're using Sketchmap tool, and what is the Sketchmap tool actually? So the Sketchmap tool, just to maybe one sentence about it, just tries to support the digitalization of the data collection. So yeah, I will go into detail as I say, but it really tries to do analog way of mapping with pen and papers, but to support the digitalization process afterwards. So what does it mean? Maybe the next slide will explain it step by step. So here you can already see on the left-hand side, there's a paper map, which is used in a lot of contexts, where you actually don't have blank paper, where you then, together with people with the community, draw the paper on this blank paper. And as you can see, and of course also can imagine, like this kind of data collection, of course, is really great for discussion, for communication, and so on. But to digitalize it, and next step later on, it's just really, really hard. The spatial relation from one object to another is just not correct. It is not geo-referenced. All of these points actually. So here the Sketchmap tool can actually support. In the middle, you can see like one way people are doing it. You can see there's still like this paper map where OpenStreetMap is as a base layer, so people can orientate themselves on a map. Of course, like with communication, they will explain where they are and what the objects on the map mean. And then later on, you can really super easily digitalize the data and use those geodata for further analysis. Of course, you won't get this kind of ready-to-go map out of it, but this is an example of what you can really do with the data. So I will go now step by step into the tool and the process, so I think it explains it way easier and make it easier to understand. So next step, maybe, next slide. Yeah, this is a website, and I think this is also quite important to know. The Sketchmap tool is an open source and free of charge tool, and the link is also on GitHub for those people who are interested in this. As I said, we as German Red Cross Support developed it together with HIGIT, the Heidelberg Institute for Geoinformation Technology, and it is actually just a website. So you don't have to register, you don't have to install or download anything. It's just a website where you can go to and use the tool. And you can already see it's actually a two-part tool. On the left-hand side, you can create the map. So this part is done in the office. Then in the middle, you go to the field, you go to you collect the data actually together with the community. And then back in the office, this second part, you digitalize the data and analyze it the way you actually like to. So what does it mean? Next slide, please. Yeah. Here you can see now this is the first part of the first step you do actually when you are in the office, you use internet and your laptop. So here you can really decide on the area of interest. So of course, this can be wherever you are. You can decide on the paper layout, the paper orientation. You can zoom in and out, so you can really find the resolution and the area of interest you are interested in this. Then on the next step, next slide please. The tool also gives you an idea about the data quality, about the OpenStreetMap data quality. There was a session yesterday yesterday already about the awesome dashboard. So this is actually linked in the tool, and it really gives you an idea how up to date is the data, yeah, how complete is the data, and then you can get an idea how sufficient the OpenStreetMap data actually is for orientation and for mapping. And this is really trying to be quite user-friendly, also for people who might not have that much of OpenStreetMap and tech knowledge. So there are those traffic lights actually connected where you can see, okay, if it's green, I'm more or less ready to go. If it's yellow, you might do some more improvements, for instance, add a few more point of interest, and red, okay, the user or the people actually might have challenges to actually orientate themselves on that. Next slide. Yeah, so why is it important? I think I don't have to get into this too much, but just to show you again an example. On the left-hand side, you obviously can see there's a map, there's the main road, and a lot of small buildings, but there's not much else. So if you're collecting with the people living in that area, it's very, very, very difficult to get an idea, first of all, where they are located, where are the next shops, where, all the point of interest in that area. So really to collect the specific data you want to. So just as an example, you want to collect the data on flooded areas or areas which were flooded in the last years. So to collect this kind of information, you obviously have to know where you are and to get a better idea of the map. On the right-hand side, you have obviously a map with way more detail. Maybe all of the details are not up to date, but at least gives you an idea where the main points are, where you're located, and to get a better feeling about the location itself. So this is just showing again why it's so important. Connected to that, it's maybe also important to mention, you obviously can also use the tool without improving data quality. So the tool technically works also without improving it, but just as I said, the data quality later on the data collection, it's just way better if you also improve or also spend some time on this step. Next slide, please. So what to do, obviously, if the data quality is not that good, not so good for orientation, obviously there's several ways. One way is to contact the local community, local OpenStreetMap community. This is obviously the best way to go. Another point would be to contact the missing maps community, which support in this context, or like the humanitarian OpenStreetMap team in the regional mapping hub. All those different parties, let's say, or stakeholders, can really support in this process and to improve the data quality, and also obviously to include like even more local community members in this process. Even those maybe you are not serving for this context, but they will be connected and included in the process. And the last step, obviously, you can improve it by a different using different maps or apps. Actually, we just heard actually by Eve the really nice and interesting field map task manager. I hope that was the correct way, kind of. But also, of course, you can collect data with local and global map platforms. So next slide, please. So the first part is done. So as I said, you're deciding on the area of interest and you're printing out the data, the map. So maybe here also one more step, one more point to mention. Smaller maps, like normal A4 maps, can be really useful if you do like individual interviews where you're really talking to one single person, collecting their personal perception on the topic. Larger maps like A2 or A3 can be really useful if you have like a group discussion. So if you really have like several people to have like this open discussion to really start the communication, to really also help the group to get into the topic itself. So here it really depends what you're aiming for. And here you can actually already see some examples where the tool was used. There in Brazil, you can see there's a really big map and people standing around. You have this communication, discussion, and so on. And then also you have like some smaller maps, like in South Sudan, in Malawi, where you can just really either with smaller groups or where you just interview single people on the perception itself. Yeah, as I said, it can look in complete different way, depending on the context, but it really tries to support the analog way of mapping with pen and papers, so the group discussion communication still exists. Yeah, next slide, please. So that was the data collection. As I said, the tool not tries really to mainly support the digitalization process of the data collection. That's the reason why I'm focusing a bit more on the before and after data collection part. Yeah, and you can see now we're here on the second part, and what does it mean now in detail? How does the data actually get digitalized now? Next slide, please. Next slide. Sorry. One more. Yeah, perfect. Thank you. So, as I said, how does it work now? You actually just take a picture of this paper map. You can use it with your phone, or you scan this paper map with a scanner. So you have actually a picture of this paper map on your computer. So this is the first step. Next slide, please. So this paper map, this can be a JPEG or PNG, so like a normal picture format. You can just by drag and drop upload to the tool, or yeah, put into the tool, perfect, thank you, and uploaded it. Next one. And then the tool really identifies the markings on the paper map, detects them, selects them, and provides them in different data formats as a download. So you can see here already, it is provided as a raster format and as a vector format. I know this is a bit GIS related, so I'm not quite sure how experienced all of you are. That's the reason why we don't get a bit into details here. It's just, first of all, two different data formats, geodata formats, which can be useful for different contexts and really try to support you and give you as much as possible. So next slide, please. So yeah, what does it mean? On the left-hand side, so first of all, this is QGIS, so it's also an open source GIS software which you can download for free and use to visualize the data and also to analyze it, combine it with other data, and to visualize it in a nice map. On the left-hand side, you can see actually the result of the raster map. So you can still see actually still an image. You can still see there those little globes on the side. There are the legend, not the legend, the scale on top. It's still the image itself. So in the background, I've just added like an OpenStreetMap base map. So you can really see, okay, this image is actually geo-referenced. So it's in this correct spatial location. So you can still see, okay, it's correct located, so you can use it for further points. On the right-hand side, however, you see like those purple markings. Those is the vector file. So what does it mean? It's actually the markings which were drawn by hand on the paper map, were detected, selected, and provided as a vector file. So those ones are really the markings you just drawn by the hand. And those markings you can then really use for further analysis. You can add attributes, you can delete some, you can edit some, you can add some more. You can visualize them in the way you like. You can, as I said, combine them with other data sources. It's your choice. You can really do whatever you like to do with this kind of data. Next slide, please. Yeah, so now just giving a few examples where how they can actually use this tool. This was also in Colombia. It was used by the Colombian Red Cross, and they, in the context of disaster risk reduction project, they had like several assessments, conversations together with different communities to collect different data, for instance, on capacity, on vulnerability, on risk, and also on perception on their living area. So this is an example on the capacity, on the flood map, on the risk map exactly. On the left-hand side, you can see there are those small maps, so they were interviews with single people. And on the right-hand side, how the data then was used. So it was really to get an idea of their perception of how high the flood was during the last flood region. So as darker as more red as the color is, a lot of people said actually that water was higher compared to the area where you can see the blue maps. Yeah, just as one example. Next slide, please. This was, here they collected data also by the Colombian Red Cross about capacity. So they got an idea about where important capacity points are in the community. As you can see there on the left-hand side, there are some lines, there are some points, all the different information, and they will then transform to the map. And you can see also really nice how, or several in different ways, how to actually visualize the data. So the blue triangles, they're actually important points, and those orange and red lines are important emergency routes for the community. Next slide, please. Yeah, this is an example of the so-called dream map. So they try to get an idea about how the community actually would like that the area, the location would change. So which area are important for regarding green areas, all the different things, just to get also an idea about their perception about the area and how they would like actually to have the area change. Yeah, and again, you can see like they had like also like those polygons and some lines, and those data were detected by the tool and then visualized in QGIS, georeferenced, so spatially correct and easy to analyze. Yeah, next slide, please. One more example, it was used by the University of Heidelberg in Germany, so in the south of Germany. And it's also quite interesting. Unfortunately, it's a bit, the light is unfortunately a bit bad here, but to still give an idea. So there were, I think, like 75 people interviewed. So there were like single interviews where the people were asked about their personal perception about flood during the past year. And you can really see, I mean, as I said, lighting is unfortunately a bit bad, but still, the darker the blue areas actually are, more people said that this area is prone to flood. So like this, you can again also get a really good idea about the perception of the community. So by not only asking maybe one or two people, or if you don't have like high resolution data by other data provider, but like this, you get really also like a very good feeling about the perception of the community of their own area. So yeah, as I said, so like this, we had like 75 single maps, which were uploaded to the tool. And like this, you had like really 75 different layers you could combine and overlap. And like this, you can really simply see which areas were communicated more often and which area were communicated less. Okay, next slide, please. Yeah, so let's sum it up. What does it actually need to use the tool? As I said, the tool tries to support the digitalization of the data collection. So therefore, first part of the schedule tool, what does it need? Before the data collection in the office, you obviously need a laptop, internet, and a printer to really print out the paper maps or the maps itself, so you have the maps in paper format. During the field or during the data collection, you actually just need the printed maps and some markers, where you just then collect the data on these paper maps. After, so back in the office, you obviously need a scanner or a camera to get an image of this paper format, which, this is not mentioned here, which you can then upload to your computer and to the software, to use the data, to actually get them georeferenced and as different geodata. So the second part about the OpenStreetMap data quality, as I said before, this step is technically not needed, but of course, like really, yes, it's really highly recommended to also spend some time on this to just get really good outputs in the end. So therefore, time is needed because obviously the improvement of OpenStreetMap data quality can take some time. In particular, if you want to include different OpenStreetMap communities, different parties, for instance, HOT, so ever Missing Maps project, it just really takes some time to improve the data quality. And then the last part, the further data usage. I mean, as I said before, you don't have to actually analyze the data later on. I mean, we also have experience of, because it's now from time to time that people say, okay, they don't have that much that many skills on QGIS, and they are not that keen yet to really make more use out of it. However, I mean, you still have the paper format, actually the paper maps where you collected the data, so you can still use them the way you like, so for communication, for just putting them on the wall, and so on. But you still have the data on your computer digitalized. So even if it's just a few months later, and you have then a bit more time, you still have the data digitalized on your computer, so you can still analyze them later on. You can still make a very nice map out of it later on, combine them with other data sources, all those points. So for this, obviously, a GIS system is needed or recommended, and some GIS bits. I mean, I know there's several GIS modules, learning modules also out there. So there's a lot on the internet. So don't be too hesitated to also look into this topic, because to create a simple map, just to visualize the data, to create a simple map out of it, of course, it needs some time and commitment to get a feeling for the topic, but still it is not that difficult if you really try to get a feeling for it. So as I said, the sketchmap to OpenStreetMap data quality, and then GIS software. This is actually need for the full circle, let's say. So I think it's actually, that's it. Maybe next slide. Yeah, so that's it. Is there anything about my still want to say? Not quite sure. If there are also more questions, not now, but also later on, you can always reach out to me and just added Benny here from Heigen, as I said, since we developed the software in this cooperation. And obviously, I will also be here for the next 2 days if there are some questions. And thank you so much for having me. And please let me know what you think.
Hello, I am Asson from GeoSec. I don't know if you're sure. I just want to say it is an amazing tool that seriously, I think I would like to try it right now. I would just like to try and see if it is really yes. So thank you.
Thank you so much. It's of course great to hear, and I mean, of course, it would be even greater if you really try it out, and if you have also some feedback later on, or use cases. I think we in the Heidi team are always keen also to hear about it. So don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you for the comment.
Okay, good. Thank you. Just like the previous speaker said, I really enjoyed the decision. The tool is really innovative. I think it's a very practical information. My question is about the precision of the tool. When when you print on the map on the paper, is it at the fixed scale? Is what's the size of the smallest detail one can map out? And then how does the geofencing process make sure that the precision remains as it is?
Yeah, thank you for the question. So regarding the resolution, as I said, it depends on the paper format you choose. So this is the current version. Maybe there will be some, I mean, we're currently also actually working on the next version to improve some features. But I mean, currently it depends on the paper format you choose. So for the A4 format, I think you don't have many details, but if you increase the data format, so if you're going up to A1, you're getting, first of all, the area gets bigger, but also the detail becoming more and more. So yeah, this is quite important. And then the second question, regarding the georeferencing. So on the paper map, you have like on each corner a little globe. globe, so yeah, very small, and there's a QR format, a QR code on the side. So like this, the tool actually get an idea where the map is actually located and can it easily digitize or georeference data. Did it answer your question?
Thank you, Isabel. First of all, I'd love to say that was a great presentation. But the question that I'm having is around, of course, like 2 weeks ago, I had a meeting with Alex, who also shared about the tool itself. Alex,
yeah.
And one thing that I was wondering, what's the difference between the Sketchmap tool and the other tool that was in
Yes, yeah.
I'd really love to hear the comparison and the differences.
Yeah, thank you so much. I mean, I actually also wanted to mention it, so it's good that you. Thank you so much. So I think, I mean, the field paper obviously exists already since a long time, and it was, as far as I know, mainly used for improving OpenStreetMap data. So, and I mean, it's really great tool for to do this actually. Yeah, as I said, to also have this analog way of mapping. The Sketchmap tool does not focus that much on improving later on the OpenStreetMap data. I mean, since I know, or as far as I know, the field papers connected the collected data directly to JOBM, so you can actually add them in a very easy way to OpenStreetMap to update them. So the Sketchmap tool is not focusing that much on improving the OpenStreetMap data, but to collect data for any kind of reasons, for any kind of context and topics. As I said, a lot of Red Cross, Red Crescent national societies are doing this mapping on this analog mapping actually to map the risk and the capacity, the risk perception from the local, together with the local community, but to not put them mainly on OpenStreetMap, but to analyze them in the GIS for further topics. Yeah, so this is, I think, the main difference. And I mean, I think it was also started during a time when field papers was not maintained that much. I know it's changed now as far as I know, but yeah, that's the reason I think why it just got started in general. Yeah.
I think my question was the same as you. I think my question was the same as you, and I was just trying to compare them. So I didn't see besides here like the data quality, I didn't see. I'm looking at it too like a potential tool for the corporate where you don't want them to directly like directly edit design, want them to pass skills. Very used to the map like that drawing. So I'm wondering, I think you kind of answered it. They're like approach that
yeah, and maybe just to communicate also for the people online, the question was regarding how the connection to OpenStreetMap is, and I mean here is currently OpenStreetMap used only as a base map, but to have like also the comparisons with field papers to get an idea if you can actually connect the collected data to OpenStreetMap directly. So as I said, like I mean, this is geodata, and obviously you can do with geodata whatever you like to. So therefore, yes, you can also actually upload the data to OSM. So it also can be actually used before collecting data on, for instance, risk perception to go to the community and to have like this field, this paper map to also collect together with them some more information which are missing on the map, so you can then later on upload them to OpenStreetMap. So this is definitely possible. It's just that the tool does not have a direct connection to OpenStreetMap or JOBM, but obviously the data can be also uploaded to OpenStreetMap data. Yeah. Just depends on you how much of the data you actually would like to add data on. Hope it answered. All right. If there are no other questions, as I said, I'll be still available. So please don't hesitate to reach out. Yeah, and thank you so much for the interest.
Yeah, so for the final session in this room for today, I don't have Rebecca talking about the data quality internship. So Rebecca, over to you. Let's welcome Rebecca to the stage.
Hi everyone. If it's okay, I know we've been sitting for a long time. If it's okay, that goes and do some stretches. Hey. Yeah, let's stretch a bit. Thanks. Okay, awesome. Nice. I hope you feel better now. So I will be talking about the data quality internship. Has any of you heard of the data quality internship? Okay, so many of you. Nice, very famous. Is any of you alumni? Let's see. Oh, let's see. Nice, nice. Next slide, please. So, first of all, I would like to introduce to you one of the data quality interns. Please meet Ire, one of the data quality interns in 2022. As a direct result of the data quality internship, he was one of the core players during the disaster aspect that happened in February 2022. So he learned the importance of the significance of utilizing the open data to benefit a wider community, and therefore he gained different skills like choosing, validation, rapid ID, etc. And those skills were very advantageous during the activation period. So there's a very beautiful blog on that. I'm not sure if these slides will be shared after. Okay, nice. So they will be shared. Please look out for the slides, rather the blog, and read about them. Yeah, next slide, please. So my name is Rebecca Chanduru. And I work with humanitarian OpenStreetMap team. So as I think by July, I transitioned to the East and Southern Africa hub. It's part of POT, just the regional hub. And before that, I was the global POT data quality global coordinator. Yeah. So for the past 3 years, we within the 4 cohorts, we were able to train 124 interns from 38 countries. Globally, do you recognize anyone that you know? Or do you recognize yourself? Yeah. Nice. So the data quality internship was entirely 100% a remote one, and to ensure to ensure inclusivity and equitability, we had to we ensured that everyone from different national marginal groups, any gender was accepted during the application. And then, as you can see, people are all over the world. We had different people from different countries. So to ensure everyone was able to attend the sessions or have the training, we ensured that all trainings were recorded
And then we had we had 2 sessions, one in the earlier times, and then the other in the later times. Next slide, please. So what were the objectives of the internship? We had a number of them. One of them was community growth. So the aim was to strengthen and develop a network of validators all over the world, and also introduce new communities and the underrepresented also communities. So basically here we had a number of sessions that I'll be talking about that involved community building sessions, the number of OSM communities all over the world, and how you can contact the different communities. The other one was the main one, as the title, the data quality. So as you all know that OSM is an open platform, anyone can edit. Maintaining the data quality needs is very key. So what we did, we trained a number of interns on how to manage the data quality and how to actually train others. I think at the earlier session there was one talking about the Eastern and Southern Africa. So those are one of the hot regional hubs. We have the LATAM, we have the Western Southern, etc. So the main aim of this internship was also to develop a framework to guide the different hubs on how to conduct an internship. There is, I think on the website, there is a documentation on how to run, step by step on how to run an internship. The other one is practical knowledge. You know, you all hear what's validation, what is it? So basically the internship was to simplify validation, to make it more approachable, and also to ensure that we link our validation to like real life stories. To build, the other point is basically to build a diversity of validators. We have, like you saw, we have very many people, but we have so many mappers vis-a-vis validators. So this was basically to build validators from different regions. Like I mentioned, we ensure that we recruited different mappers from different regions. So the other point is the backlog. As you all know, we are always creating projects, and sometimes we don't have enough validators to complete those projects. Those projects could be from communities, partners, and even individual projects too. So we had a number of projects that were not validated rather. So we had a team of interns that we trained, and within a span of 3 months, we were able to validate so many. Unfortunately, I'm not put it there. So just like to talk about a snapshot of what the data quality internship is. Like I mentioned earlier on, it was a global opportunity open to everyone, and enhancing improvement of humanitarian mapping. And the other one, we focused on data quality to address challenges with open data, to ensure that our data is reliable, to make informed decision, and to build trust to our data. The other one is inclusivity. Like I mentioned, we really emphasized on applications from women, developing countries, marginal groups, and underrepresented groups. We ensure that we have to ensure that everyone has access to the internship, and because putting people first is one of the core values of HOD, so we had to ensure everyone is represented. Other thing is expert-led trainings. So we reach out to target subject experts. For instance, we had trainings. If it is Mapbox, we have trainings from the Mapbox people. If it is Meta, let's say AI, we had trainings specifically from them. Basically, this was to enable us to get trainings from the real experts to help us troubleshoot those main concerns that we had. The other thing was skill development. Basically, we ensured that all the interns gained geospatial transferable skills whereby they were able to transfer that same information to their communities as you see them. And then again, learning, simplifying validation and community mapping. The last snapshot I'll talk about is empowering interns to confidently lead in their communities. So we had different sessions on how to manage communities, on how to actually build an OSM community, and this enabled them to build confidence and to have the right information, who to go to, and what to do for what. Next slide, please. Okay, so how did we do this? The internship was a 3 months program. It started with basically the 3 months from the starting date to the end. But before that, there is application stage where we call for application, we send all that in our social media and the website. Then we run through a short interview, not long. Sometimes 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And then we go through the selection bit, whereby we have a number of team cores, leaders that enable us to select the interns. And then the internship is basically divided into two. Number one is we train geospatial tools. Those include the ID editor, JOSI, OSM chart, Osmos, PPRIDE, QGIS, Overpass, etc. And then basically we train those to empower our interns so that they're able to map and validate other people's work, as well as data quality analysis, data analysis. The other bit of the internship that I mentioned earlier on is the community engagement, where we talk about the local OSM communities, different working groups, OSM channels, expert meetings, etc. This is to encourage active participation in their OSM communities. Maybe something else I didn't mention there is we also do coffee chats, where we introduce our different interns to our hot staff. They interact with them, learn what they do, and yeah. So next, please. So I already talked about Irene. Again, please meet Rizky. He's one of the data quality interns 2022. As a result of the internship and the skills that she learned from the community engagement sessions, she's now confident enough to take charge of organizing and facilitating OSM training sessions in her local language, actually, in Nepal. There's a video for that. Feel free to watch after here. And who knows this? Who knows him? Okay, just look around the room, you'll see him. So please meet Ilse. He's one of the data quality interns. For him, it was in 2022. And as a result of the internship again, he is able to conduct different trainings. So he learned different geospatial tools like mission. He's able to conduct different trainings. And right now, he's training people on map creation. That's one of the beautiful maps that she has created. And I think it was posted, there's a blog, And he also teaches people in Cameroon here. He teaches the local communities on the impacts of maps. Next slide, please. Okay, so I think for those that do validation, sometimes validation can be stressing, yeah? I don't know if you can clearly read that. So what we do after our internship, our interns become validators. So they join, we have what they call the training validators, and then others join the hot global validators, where they check different complex advanced mappings. they give constructive feedback to different mappers globally. And actually, they are a good contact for validation. Yeah. Okay, next slide. So what next? Yeah. What next? Presently, there are no plans for data quality internship run globally yet. But then data quality continues as a priority area of what. So what we are doing right now, this year, we are integrating most of the impactful components of the data quality internship into other regional programs. So how are we doing this? For instance, the materials that we created are being used by the hubs and our partners, and our data quality luminaries are being invited to participate as mentors, and then the community validators that we mentioned, that I mentioned earlier on, they're all supporting in different programs. For instance, the spatial network. I'll be speaking about that shortly. Next slide, please. Okay. So this is just a continuation from the other slides. So there is what they call the Spatial People Network. Actually, it's already on. Please check them out. They give some sum of money for you to run an internship, rather not an internship, sorry, to run a mapathon or to do some small field work mapping. It's already open and it's for East and Southern Africa. Please check them out. They allow anyone who's welcome, both in early career professionals as well as students. So again, and then we have the guru, the open mapping guru, where you're given a chance to access different valuable OSM data, they enhance your skill, you'll be able to attend different workshops and different social trainings, and you can also apply to be a mentor and collaborate with different experts. Then you represent ports, in your different communities, support in critical mappings, and then involve educational resources. So basically here, from the skills that you've learned, even if you're not an intern, you'll be able to create materials that you help the communities. So I think the Guru open mapping guru is also open. Please feel free to go to the HOT website and all that information will be there. Okay, so I have some actions to take. Please, there are different opportunities always. Just encourage all of you to stay alert, keep your eyes on the social medias open, but this time they are mainly emerging from the regions. And please connect the different social media accounts of the regions as well as port. And there's so many stories about the data quality internship. I could not list so many of them there. I just have a small link for you there. But you have different blogs and stories about the internship from the first one. So please feel free to check them out. So we usually, when you're conducting an internship, it wasn't read by me, yeah. It's like a big core team. Unfortunately, I could not list all of them there. There are so many, so I just listed a few of them. Some, I think some of you have already met some. We also have Geoffrey and Annalie. Those are some of the core teams that supported the data quality internship for the past year. We have Ralph, we have so many different regions. Unfortunately, I could not put them here, but I would just like to thank all the core team for making data quality a success and famous. Yeah, and that's it. Thank you. Thank you for me. Next, any question? Yeah, answer. Is an answer.
Hey, so thanks, super interesting and really nice work. I would like to know, so you said, okay, it will not be continued maybe for various reasons, and you try to keep it. So was there something that did not work out, or you want to change, or would like to change for the next time when you would do the inequality internship? Yeah.
Okay, so data quality internship. So what HOT is doing, HOT is decentralizing. That means it's putting more effort and giving more power to the regions. So what is most of those major projects or programs that are happening, what wants the region to take responsibility of it. But it's a big program, and so what they're doing to make it much easier for this year, they're trying to integrate it with different existing projects or programs, like I mentioned, the Spatial People Network and the Open Mapping Program. We just never know, maybe there'll be one, but for now, what is integrating all the major big projects into region. Any other questions? There's a question.
You can come to the mic.
Thank you. So my English is not very good. I hope that you understand me. Firstly, I want to know why it is important to inform people about validations of data and which data are you validate. Are there only maps or are there any others data? And my last question is, you said that as benefits we have access to valuable OSM data. What is the difference between these data and the others? Why are they more valuable than the other data disponible on the platforms? Thank you.
Awesome. I hope I've understood your question. So, why do we validate our data? So remember when we're doing mapping, we have beginner mappers, people that have just learned how to map. Okay. So as you know, there's always like errors that are made during mapping. So to ensure that is corrected, we do have what they call validators that go ahead and clean that data. Make sure what someone has said is a building is a building, or if someone has tagged it as a residential building, it's a residential building, or whatever it is. If it's a tree, it's a tree. So validation is just a double check when someone confirms that what someone has mapped is correctly mapped or it correctly aligns with the image. So why is this important? The information that we add to the map is used to make informed decisions. So if someone says something is a building or something is a road and it's not, that means you're misinforming our stakeholders. So we need to correct that data so that our stakeholders have good information, are well informed to make informed decisions. Okay? Yeah.
Question. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your presentation. I'm asking this question on behalf of the still here. Yeah, it's here. So yeah, the question is, what has beginner markers, intermediate markers, and also advanced markers, right? And you may find someone is an advanced marker and they have poor data, like the criteria that is used to get an advanced mapper doesn't look at data quality, but I think it would be really nice for, to say someone is, an advanced mapper to also have quality data. And data is not just quantity, like has made like 1,000 edits. but also quality edits. So it's kind of a suggestion, but I also want to hear like your perception about it. Like, how do you think we can make sure that if someone is tagged as an advanced marker, then their data quality is equally good and not just talking about only the amount of edits.
Awesome. That's a hard one. Joking. Anyway, so basically, when someone is basically they use stats, they believe that if you have continued mapping, you're getting more experience. Yeah. Like for instance, at your workplace, when you join the first time, you're not the same person as now, right? So that's the same process they use. But something that I can mention is right now for data races for validation, there are some restrictions that they put there, like teams. So there are different things. Like I mentioned, they put global validators. You have the OSM Africa. You have let me say Cameroon mapping validator. So usually the code that are there have already been checked or trained to do validation. So once a project is created, there is a restriction where you can restrict it only, where you can only restrict that to only teams. Yeah. So you make sure the person that is not in, let me say, am I audible?
Now we can hear you.
Okay. You make sure that the person that's not in, if the person is not in a hot validator team or is not in the OSM team, that person will not be able to validate that project. Yeah. Maybe there's a snapshot that I have in my phone on the criteria that they use to select validators. As you all notice these days, as you notice these days, we don't have that tag of validator on the important scheme manager, right? So in order for you to be in some of these things, I just these are some. So basically what they do is there are different criteria. First of all, they use your statistics. It's just like an indicator. And then, but it's not good enough, okay? So what they do again, they go and look through your, like, let me say your recent edits, just to check how much you've been working on, how you've been fixing people's edits, etc. So maybe if I can just go through the stages here briefly. So they look at your OSM username. Are you registered? Do you have a username? Have you been? Are you experienced with Joseph? Because Joseph is a more advanced editor that's used for validation. And then, do you have any like meeting targets? And then the other thing is like, have you attended any validation training stuff, etc. Then they check that's the stage that they come and check on your accuracy. After that, they check your work is good, then you join the team. Then another thing is there are different channels where people keep validating. So in the long run, if they have chosen you by any chance and you're not doing good work, they always withdraw. Yeah. So it's still a process, it's not yet perfect. It's just something that we're still building and it's under discussion.
Another round of applause for Becky. Thank you so much. That was our session today here in this room, but there is a celebration going on. I may not be here contribute to Mapillary. Yeah, Mapillary is celebrating 10 years today, right now at Center of the Map Africa as well. So yeah, they're having a session that's going on, started like 30 minutes ago. We're just going to project it here. You can stay and watch it for the final about 20 minutes here. So yeah, if I know you can put up that YouTube link and yeah, we do it Margaret celebrates 10 years. And thanks all for the contributions. Thank you.